The price of a mother's choice. Sarah stood in front of her mirror, adjusting her blazer and checking her makeup one final time. Behind her, reflected in the glass, her 9-year-old daughter Judith clutched her new backpack, eyes pleading. "Mommy, please," Judith begged for what felt like the 100th time that morning. "It's the first day back. Everyone's parents will be there." Sarah sighed, turning to face her daughter. "Baby, I've already explained. This meeting could mean a promotion. I can't miss it." She checked her watch, 7:45 a.m. The morning traffic would be brutal. Judith's lower lip trembled. "But I wanted to show you my new classroom. And meet Mrs. Peterson. And show everyone the mother-daughter necklaces we got this summer." Sarah's hand instinctively went to her own necklace, the delicate silver chain with half a heart pendant. Judith wore its matching piece. The jewelry had been a peace offering of sorts, after another missed school event last term. "You're a big girl now," Sarah said, gathering her briefcase. "You know the way to school. It's only 3 blocks, and you've walked it plenty of times." "But it's different today," Judith whispered, her voice small. "It's special." Sarah felt the familiar pang of guilt but pushed it aside. "I'll make it up to you, I promise. We'll do something fun this weekend." She kissed Judith's forehead and headed for the door. "Lock up behind you, sweetheart." The sound of the door closing behind her mother seemed to echo through the empty house. Judith stood there for several long moments, fighting back tears. Finally, she shouldered her backpack, heavy with new books and supplies, and began the walk to school alone. The September morning was bright but cool, streets bustling with other families heading to school. Judith tried not to look at the fathers holding their children's hands, mothers taking photos on front steps, proud parents walking together with their kids between them. She clutched her necklace tightly. As she approached the school gates, the weight of her backpack seemed to grow heavier. That's when she heard a cheerful voice behind her. "Need help with that?" Judith turned to see a girl about her age, with long dark hair and a friendly smile. She'd never seen her before. She must be new. "I'm Luna," the girl said. "First day here. Would you like a hand?" Grateful, Judith let Luna take one of her bags. As they walked together toward the building, Luna asked about the school, the teachers, the other students. She seemed especially interested in Judith's mother. "She couldn't come today?" Luna asked, her dark eyes intense. "No," Judith said quietly. "She had a meeting." "That must hurt," Luna said, her voice full of sympathy. "My mother always says family should come first." Throughout the day, Judith noticed strange things happening around her. Her new pencil case disappeared from her desk. Her lunch money vanished from her pocket. Her carefully completed summer homework somehow got soaked with water, the pages illegible. Each time something went wrong, Luna was there, offering comfort and help. "Don't worry," she'd say. "These things happen. At least you have me." By the end of the day, Judith was miserable. When the final bell rang, she found Luna waiting by her locker. "Rough first day," Luna said. "Want to come to my house? My mother would love to meet you." Judith hesitated. She wasn't supposed to go to strangers' homes without permission. But Luna had been so kind. "I should call my mom first," Judith said. Luna's smile flickered. Oh, the busy mother who couldn't be bothered to bring her daughter to school. Why bother her? Something in Luna's tone made Judith step back. The girl's eyes seemed different now, a euro darker, colder. I should go home," Judith stammered. Luna grabbed her arm. Her touch was ice cold. "Don't you want a mother who put you first? My mother could be your mother too. We have so many sisters already." That's when Judith noticed the necklace Luna wore identical to her own, but black as midnight. And she remembered the stories her grandmother used to tell, about women who stole children, about houses that looked warm and welcoming from the outside but held darkness within. Judith yanked her arm free and ran. She ran all the way home, not stopping until she was safely inside. When Sarah came home that evening, she found her daughter sobbing on the couch. "Judith. Baby, what's wrong?" Through tears, Judith told her everything. About Luna, the missing items, the strange invitation. Sarah held her daughter close, her promotion forgotten. The next morning, Sarah called in sick to work. She walked Judith to school herself, holding her hand tightly. But Luna wasn't there. No one remembered seeing a new girl with long dark hair. Judith's missing items mysteriously reappeared on her desk. Only the black necklace remained, left in Judith's locker, a warning or perhaps a reminder that some choices come with prices we don't expect to pay. From that day forward, Sarah never missed another first day of school. Sometimes the most important meetings aren't in boardrooms at all, but in small moments with those we love most. As for Luna, well, some say on quiet mornings, a dark-haired girl can still be seen near the school gates, offering to help carry bags for children who walk alone. The weeks following that first frightening day of school passed quietly, but peace never truly settled in Judith's heart. Even with her mother Sarah's renewed attention and care, shadows seemed to linger at the corners of her vision, and the weight of unseen eyes followed her through the hallways. Sarah noticed the changes in her daughter, the way Judith would startle at sudden movements, how she'd grip her mother's hand a little tighter when they passed the park on their morning walks to school. The silver necklace never left Judith's neck, becoming almost like a talisman. One evening, as autumn winds rattled the windows, Judith sat at the kitchen table doing her homework when her pencil rolled off the edge. As she bent to retrieve it, she froze. There, scratched into the underside of the table, was a message, "Missing you, sister. Soon." That night, Luna came to Judith in her dreams. The dark-haired girl stood in a garden of black roses, her smile as sharp as thorns. "Your mother won't always be there," Luna whispered. "Everyone makes mistakes. Everyone gets busy. And when she does..." Judith woke screaming. Sarah came running, and for the first time, Judith told her about the dreams, the whispers, the feeling of being watched. Sarah listened, her face growing pale as she remembered the black necklace they'd found in Judith's locker. "She's trying to separate us," Sarah realized. "She feeds on that distance between mothers and daughters." The next day, Sarah took a personal day from work. Together, they went to visit Judith's grandmother, who lived in a small house filled with old books and the scent of dried herbs. When Judith described Luna, the old woman's hands trembled as she reached for an ancient leather-bound volume. "There are creatures," she explained, "who prey on the bonds between mothers and children. They seek out moments of weakness, of separation. They offer comfort only to steal souls." She looked directly at Sarah. "But they can't touch a child who's protected by true maternal love." Armed with this knowledge, Sarah and Judith prepared for the new school term. They created new rituals together, morning affirmations, matching bracelets blessed by grandmother, notes hidden in lunch boxes. Each morning, they walked to school together, their joined hands forming an unbroken circle of protection. Luna didn't give up easily. She tried everything she could think of to separate them. One morning, Sarah's car mysteriously wouldn't start. Another day, her phone was flooded with urgent work messages, all of which turned out to be false alarms. There were sudden road closures, fake emergency calls, and even a mysterious appointment that appeared on Sarah's calendar. But Sarah had learned her lesson. She kept a spare car key, left home earlier to work if needed, and made it clear to her office that her daughter came first. Each failed attempt seemed to weaken Luna's power. Students began to whisper about the strange things they saw. A girl with dark hair standing in empty classrooms, her reflection visible in windows but vanishing when you turned to look. Cold spots in the hallways. The sound of crying from empty bathroom stalls. One particularly cold morning, as Sarah and Judith approached the school gates, they saw her. Luna stood beneath a bare oak tree, her form flickering like a candle flame. Her eyes, when they met Judith's, were full of hunger and rage. "You can't protect her forever," Luna called out, her voice carrying on the wind. "Every mother fails eventually." Sarah stepped forward, pulling Judith close. "You're right. We all make mistakes. But real love means coming back, trying harder, doing better. That's something you'll never understand. Luna's form seemed to waver, becoming less solid. She'll be lonely again. They always are. No, Judith said, finding her voice. I won't be. Because even when we're apart, I know my mom loves me. Really loves me, not just pretends to like your mother does. Luna's scream of fury turned to mist in the cold air. Her form began to dissolve, starting from her feet and moving upward like smoke from an extinguished candle. But before she vanished completely, they saw something in her eyes, not anger anymore, but a deep, ancient sadness. The oak tree where she had stood withered overnight, its bark turning black as if burned. But in the spring, new leaves sprouted, and children played beneath its branches without fear. Sarah and Judith continued their morning walks to school, their evening talks over dinner, their weekend adventures. Sometimes they argued, sometimes schedules got complicated, and sometimes life got in the way. But they worked through it together, understanding that perfect wasn't the goal love was. Years later, when Judith was grown with a daughter of her own, she would sometimes pause at those same school gates, remembering. And if sometimes she thought she saw a flicker of movement in the corners of her vision, she didn't feel afraid. Instead, she would grip her own daughter's hand a little tighter, smile a little warmer, and remember that love, real love, was the strongest magic of all. As for Luna, well, they say sometimes on lonely evenings, when the distance between mothers and daughters feels vast, a dark-haired girl can be seen watching through windows, waiting. But she can't enter homes where love dwells, can't touch hearts that beat in sync, can't break bonds that have been tested and grown stronger. And if you listen carefully on quiet mornings, you might hear her crying not in anger anymore, but in longing for what she can never have, the true, imperfect, unbreakable love between a mother and her child.